Good morning, good afternoon, and good whatever time it is. My name is Trevor Laird, and welcome to another episode of TREVANTINE, the podcast in which you get to hear the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of an 18-year-old senior in high school being affected by the coronavirus. Today is currently March 30th, 2020, and time is 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We finally got through week one of quarantine. Technically, quarantine in my city went live on Tuesday, but it felt like a week. I mean, I basically really haven't done anything. Besides going out to fish here and there, going out to longboard, not really doing too much, but being within my legal bounds, as you could say, and just waking up, working out, do my thing. Today's start of week two of online school. Week one wasn't too bad, but it was a little rough, and I'm like losing motivation as the days go on because of senioritis and stuff. But today I wanted to talk about how competitive theater, was infected by the coronavirus. I used to be debate kid for 3 years of high school, my freshman through junior year, till a certain incident happened. Um, but yeah, I have one of my comp theater friends on, and we can talk to her about how the coronavirus has affected her and how it is affected competitive theater. So, Sophia, are you there?
I am here.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not sick. I'm still able to do my podcast, so I'm thriving, I guess. So
Hey.
I guess we can dive right on into it. How has Corona affected you, man?
Well, let's see. This whole thing was like a joke up until what was it? Thursday, March 12th is when we had our district speech and debate tournament. And so we had districts the week before, and everything was still fine then. Like, no one was really concerned about the virus. And we qualified our readers theater, our one act, and my duo won district. So we were like taking all these events to state. And then this week of like March 12th, we were at national like speech and debate districts, and that's like the biggest tournament of the year, and that's like what everyone works up to. And basically they postponed the tournament like an hour in, and then they were like, all right guys, we're not doing, like, we can't do this weekend. So then I went home and I was like, huh, that was weird. But I still like continued to hang out with my friends for, I mean, over spring break. And then just in the past, more of like the past week, I've really just become isolated to just my family, and I can still go into work, but it's pretty much all I'm doing is online school and being a little sad that everything's canceled.
Oh, that's tough to hear. Are your parents like freaking out about this? Are they like locking you down?
My parents are, they we all believe, like, we know where we're going. We're not really scared just because of our faith. Like, we're chilling, but we're also taking like the precautions that are necessary. So we're only going out when we need to. We're not really trying to be around other people, and just trying to stay like at home as much as possible, but we're not like letting fear take over.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear, man. So, has Corona affected your life differently? Like, have you, besides being locked down to your house, have you been, as changing your behaviors or anything you've been doing?
Yeah, it's kind of made me realize that, like, I live so much for the things that I look forward to, and so I basically, like, was going to school just to see other people, and I was going for all of my activities. So now that it's like those people are kind of shut out from me, and now that all of my activities are canceled, it's making me realize that, like, oh, I don't spend enough time, like, sitting and, like, being in my own presence. And it's kind of like, as a society, we're always like so busy, and no one ever encourages you to just take a breath. So for me, like, it's changed my life because I'm just kind of sitting here and like being forced to spend time with myself, and kind of like getting to know myself more than I don't know myself as well as I probably should by now, because I'm so busy all the time and I'm constantly like going from one activity to another and like being surrounded by people. So it's forcing me into this like self-isolated like thought bubble. So I've been thinking a lot about like what I want for my life and for my future and like going from this point, like, what am I going to learn from this? And it's probably like that I need to spend more time intentionally resting and not just living for everything around me.
Yeah, I'd agree. I was put in the same shoes and I'm the same way. Do you think this has impacted you positively so far?
Uh, it's hard to tell right now. It's definitely been an encouragement for me to reach out to people because I normally don't like to I mean, I like to talk to people in person, but I'm really bad at like keeping conversations like over social media, which I mean, it's good to be able to talk in person, but it's making me more like want to reach out to my friends that I haven't talked to in a while, or at least like keep in constant contact with my friends that I don't get to see anymore because we're not at school. So it's definitely helping me like realize how social I like how much I should be putting into my friendships. And I mean, other than that, it's been pretty negative, but it's helping me realize that I do have a lot of people out there and I just need to stay in contact with them.
Nice. Well, I guess so we can get away from this and start talking about comp theater a little bit more. What was the deal with like NFL and SDA districts? Then you said it got canceled early.
Yeah. So we went to the tournament and we had choir like in the morning. So we were on this bus, pull up at Liberty High School, and our first round I think started at 5. So we were there and there was just a lot of tension because there was a lot more of things being canceled and there was an announcement earlier in the day that we weren't allowed to have meetings greater than 1,000 people in Kansas City. So we were like, oh, technically we're in Liberty. And there weren't 1,000 kids there, but there was a lot and probably up of like 700. So we went to our first rounds. And for me, I was double entered. So I went in one of my rounds and I did my like individual piece. But the real reason that I was at districts was for my other piece, which was my duo. So went to my first round and right before I performed, I was the last one to perform, and all the kids in my round get like really anxious. And the coach is like, "Hey," or one of our judges is just like, "Hey, I got a text from my other coach, and they said that we're gonna have a team meeting in the live or in the cafeteria after this round." And then a bunch of the other kids in the room were like, "Oh yeah, we just got that text too." So basically, like I performed once, and everyone in the room wasn't really watching me because we were all so like focused on what was probably about to happen. And then we left the round, went into the cafeteria, and like all of these teams were just like in huddles with each other, and all the coaches were talking with one another, and everyone was just sitting there. And we basically were like, all right, so this is over. And then they called it, and the National like Speech and Debate Twitter announced that we weren't allowed to have any more district tournaments. But we were like, oh well, maybe since ours already started, we can get by. Um, and this tournament was supposed to last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and this it was canceled like 6:30 p.m. on Thursday. So my whole team and I like we went to Taco Bell and we all just kind of sat there and we were like, so everything we worked for since like August has been canceled basically. And it really sucked because some of my friends who are seniors were like about to break down. And I'm sure a lot of us were really upset that night, but like it was just a lot to process. And basically they're trying to like reschedule it so that it's an online tournament. But for someone like me who's in a event with another person, like we would not be able to stay 6 feet apart if we performed together. So I'm just a little confused as to how we're moving forward. But they're trying to get the district tournament to still happen, even if we have to do it online. So, I mean, it's still
Online
up in the air.
districts?
Yeah, yeah, they want us to, like, send in videos, and then they would pair us, like, in rounds with each other, and we would, like they would send out, like, 6 videos to a judge, and then the judge would rank us. But I just don't see how that's gonna happen with duo. Um, and I think that they want national qualifiers, so they want us to have this tournament so that we can say, like, "Oh, I qualified to nationals," even if there isn't a national tournament.
Couldn't you like cheat the system with that?
Yeah.
Just like
I
retake your
mean,
stuff.
you could record it a million times and send in the best one. Like, it's not really authentic performing, but it's the best that we could do. So, we'll see.
Would you agree you would lose a lot? Like, obviously, when you're in a room with a performance, it's a lot different than if you're just watching a video of it.
Oh, yeah. And the thing about, like, there's some humorous pieces where if you were to watch it on a video, it would be so awkward. And for me, like, thinking about performing to an empty room, that would be really uncomfortable. And I don't know, it's just like the background, like performing in your room is one thing, but like performing in an actual like classroom to a judge makes it so much different. And I always feel like I perform way better at tournaments than I do in like a class performance or in like a video performance that I have to send in. So I feel like it would definitely screw me over. Uh, I'm not really excited about the idea, but I would still do it if it actually happened.
Hmm. So how's comp theater class worked? I've seen Coach Linger still like posting stuff, but I haven't seen like
Yeah.
what you guys are doing.
So we meet every day and all of the classes like have their own time for Google Hangout. And it's kind of like it's an elective class, and if you weren't going to districts, you were kind of like done for the rest of the semester anyways. But normally at this time, like we start our spring reading assignment where we would do like we read a bunch of different books or plays or articles, and then you have to put it together in a POI. So I mean, we can't really do that right now, and that's still like on it's still like in the on the radar, but we can't do that right now because we just don't have the physical books and we don't have like, the POI books to put it all together. So last week was like the first week of virtual school, and basically we just met and like hung out on Google Hangout and we did storytellings, but they weren't really storytellings, so we just like held up a children's book and like read it in a funny voice, and we're sending those out today to the elementary schools so that they can send it out to the kids and they can watch us. Um, and then Linger says we're starting a new project tomorrow. I'm not really sure what we're gonna do because I mean, we can like perform our same pieces over and over, but I feel like we'll probably be learning new events. She said she might teach us info, or
Ooh.
we might do poise like later on. So yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah, that's weird, especially like a theater speech class. I don't know, like that seems so weird to do online.
It is like it's more of just we hang out on Google Meet so that we can all see each other's faces.
Hmm.
Um, But, I mean, there's no way that you can recreate all of the performances and, like, actually getting together in the class every day. Like, we have a lot of personality, and it's just I mean, it's still there. It's just really sad to be like, "Oh, you guys are on a screen, and I can't actually see you, and, like, we can't compete," or, like, because right now we would be getting ready for state or probably I mean, like, we qualified to NITALK Talk too, and we could have been getting ready for that, but those are both canceled, so we're just kinda doing the best we can.
Hmm. This flows perfectly into my next question. Being a junior, and missing your junior year night talk in state, do you think that will affect you till next year, or do you think that has like a big effect on you?
It definitely does. Because my freshman and sophomore year, I went to districts and like I knew that I wasn't going to nationals, but I was just kind of there to like get the experience. And then my sophomore year, I actually like placed at districts and I was like 2 spots away from going to nationals. So then I made it my goal this year that I was going to be double entered at districts. I was going to go to NITALK and I was going to qualify to nationals. And it sucks because like, we qualified to state and we had that and, like, I mean, we probably could have done well. Like, I mean, who knows what would have happened, but Lily and I just, like, consistently our duo was it was really fun to take out, but we were, like, successful on top of it, which was like, "Oh, man." Like, it was a really lucky year for us. And, and then qualifying to Night Talk, we were gonna miss our choir concert, but we are like, "Oh, that's fine." Like, we'll take a national tournament over going to a choir concert. Um, but I don't know. It makes me a little nervous because I feel like I'm gonna be extra hard on myself next year because I mean, it'll be my senior year and it'll be like my first and last chance to qualify for these things versus if I had this year and then next year I'm like, well, I want to go, but I've already been, so I won't be super upset. But now I'm a little stressed just because these are these goals that I've had since like my freshman year and if I'm not able to go to these tournaments, like it's one thing to qualify, but I want the experience as well.
No, yeah, that makes sense. That leads right into my last question. Do you think we'll go back to school?
I don't think so. It I mean, the stay-at-home order was already, like, pushed back further, and I mean, by that point, it's not really worth it to go back because we're already doing our AP tests online, and I mean, I could see us going back for, like, the last week maybe, or maybe the last day to, like, go in, get our yearbooks, like, something like that, but it just doesn't seem like it's feasible right now, and if things don't get better, I don't like, my mom has talked about if we're not going back, like, starting in the fall, which scares me because that's my senior year, and I don't know. It's, like, one thing for me to miss the complete end of my junior year, but thinking about this lasting for, like, 2 school years is a little scary, so, yeah, I don't think we're going back.
Yeah, that's rough to hear, man. Well, thanks for coming on today. I appreciate you coming
Yeah.
on and spreading your word. Um, Good luck on online state or however that happens.
Yeah.
Whenever that comes out, you
All
might have to
the
come back on and talk about how that
Yeah,
plays out.
might have to do that.
All right. Well, thank you, Sophia. And then
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully I need to get you on here another time. We talk about something else.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds like a good plan.
See you later, man.
Alright, bye.
And that was the infamous Sophia Bolin. Always love talking to new people and getting new perspectives. I'm glad I got to see the comp theater side. Hopefully soon I can get the debate side, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday or something. But online state would be whack, you know. And with Deca we talked about doing that, and I couldn't even imagine doing that in the slightest. And I mean, it's way different when you're in person compared to when you're not, because there's a presence people hold when they're in a room, especially in like a theater room. If someone's doing a dramatic piece and then they are online, you don't really quite get that punch as if they were right in front of you crying their little hearts out. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens and how that unfolds. Definitely I'll need to follow up with her. But yeah, that was my first segment on how Corona is affecting us. That's how Corona is affecting comp theater. Now we can go on to our little second segment, which is the news segment, which you can tell by the scrolling bottom third. But this is where we read the headlines from the New York Times. As clickbaity as they are, it is way easier to get the headlines this way. So our first headline today is Macy's has lost a majority of its sales. Macy's was already kind of in the dumps anyways, so that kind of doesn't shock me. I mean, I don't know anyone that's been like, oh, I'm going to Macy's to go shop, let alone here in KC. I don't think I've ever seen I don't think I've seen a Macy's in forever. So apparently Macy's lost a lot of its sales. Um, as of February 2nd, it had 130,000 part-time and full-time employees. And yeah, they just started losing sales. Next price is oil prices are sliding as energy demands erode. I don't know how energy demands are lowering, because I feel like more people than ever are using like power, or I guess people aren't driving as much, but I feel like a lot more people are using internet, a lot more people are using electricity since we're all staying home now. It says oil prices hit their lowest level since 2002 on Monday, as the gloom over energy market deepens after Donald Trump extends his guidelines on social distancing. If you haven't seen, social distancing has been extended until April 30th now. We were supposed to go back to school on April 27th, so it looks like we're not going back to school in the month of April, which is kind of a bummer. But like, so what Sophia was saying is I kind of hope that we can go back to school, even if it's like a day, to get our yearbooks, say goodbye to everyone one last time, even though personally I don't believe in saying goodbye, like the Bon Jovi song Never Say Goodbye. But yeah, I think that's a good mentality to have, because though you want to say goodbye to people for the last time, you should never say goodbye, because you want to hope and have that positive mentality that you'd see these people again. But it said that Brent crude, the international benchmark, fell nearly 6% to the $23.50 or $23.50 a barrel on Monday, and the West Texas Intermediate, the US market, briefly fell below $20. It says oil has also been hammered by a price war between Saudi Arabia and Russia. Yeah, it's crazy that we're fighting over oil, but um that's just the way it's been for a while. And oil prices, especially when oil makes the world go round, it's going to be crazy to see how this continues to unfold. Next headline is that the stock market climbs as the U.S. extends its containment measures. So this is just looking at the little snippets right here. It says the S&P 500 is up 2.49%, the Dow is up 2.21%, and the Nasdaq is up 2.79%. So if you were hoping to invest, might be getting a little too late, since the stock market is going to start rising. I think trading opened up today or this morning, so I expect to see it rise up a little bit more. People are kind of done feeling that shock, and now everyone wants to get into the stock market because, like they say, buy when it's low and then sell when it's high. Um, that's exactly what happened. So stock market's climbing, which is a good thing for us. Trump bucks are coming in soon, so let's see how that works out. It's going to be interesting. Next headline is that Democrats want Treasury and the Feds to bail out the states, and then Carnival Cruises look for new financing, and it's not a loan. So cruises obviously are going to lose a lot of money. With no one going on travels anymore or traveling the world anymore, they're going to lose a lot of money. One thing I find interesting is airlines. A lot of airlines aren't flying, so how are they losing money? Even though a lot of people have already paid for their flights. Something intriguing and something that's always interested me is why they're losing money even though they're not flying. Next headline, or I guess going back on the headline about the Democrats wanting the Treasury and the Feds to bail out the states, says top Democrats are urging the Treasury Department and Federal Reserves to use nearly $500 billion from the 2 trillion dollar economic rescue package to bail out revenue-strapped states and cities instead of granting loans of large corporations. So rather than giving money to these corporations, they want to bail out the states. Interesting take. Elizabeth Warren stated that they need to call for the needs of the local and state governments as a matter of life or death. And yeah, I guess they're just trying to support the states a little bit more, which is interesting. A lot of people say that we need to support the people before we support the big businesses, which I could see, especially when a lot of small businesses are suffering. That makes it tough, man, because if no one has the ability to go out and support their small businesses like they used to, and then the government's only going to bail out the big businesses, then that's not fostering a great environment for these small businesses. I know one of my favorite coffee shops, Hammerhand Coffee, in the Liberty Square. If they go under, that'd be pretty sad to see for me. Then again, I'm not doing my part. I haven't really been going out and getting coffee, but then again, I've been trying to stay away from major stores and places like that just because I don't want to catch corona. But it's whatever. Saturday, I think, no, yeah, Saturday or Friday, I went to Smoothie King for the first time, and they were absolutely swamped. There was a line like down the road, and then they had like online orders galore and stuff. And I mean, I'm glad they're still able to give out stuff and then provide to the community, but I don't know. I think the methods are kind of whack. I know the weirdest thing I saw with that was what happened was I ordered my smoothie, right? And they handed me a receipt and a pen. And it's like, I don't know how many other people have touched this pen, what these other people who touched this pen have had. So luckily, Miss Green, Emily's mother, hooked me up with a little bottle of hand sanitizer. So like right after I signed the paper, I just went and then cleaned my hands off. But yeah, I think that's interesting. Why would they make me sign for something like that? Especially when there's a pandemic going around, but that's I guess above me or something. But that's all the major headlines for today. Not a lot of headlines, nothing groundbreaking. Not like last week. I feel like last week the news kept unfolding, but then again it's 11:24 a.m. on a Monday. So tomorrow, hopefully the stock market's still up. Hopefully a lot of things are still going good, going well. But yeah, that's all I really have for the news segment. Now I guess we can talk about what I'm going to do today. So today I woke up a little later. I woke up at 7:45. I just not want to get out of bed, man. I stayed up a little later playing Minecraft again. I've been grinding Minecraft. Minecraft's been one of my saviors lately, just because I can just play and not like think about anything. I just mindlessly play. But now I have to go back to school and get back to reality, I guess. But yeah, this morning I woke up 7:45. I went on a 3.75 mile run. A little longer. I had like 11-minute pace for each mile. I'm no runner by any means or anything. I'm just kind of I need something to stay in shape. And then I did my squat workout, and then the part of the workout that Coach Jones tweeted out. My squat workout is very interesting. I have a ladder and I put it on the side of my deck, my backyard deck, so I can get under the bar. And then I have two buckets and I fill those up with water. But it's very interesting. Excuse me, but you got to do what you got to do, and I'm making the most out of what I have. So until the gyms start opening up again, I think this will be my option for now. And then, it's going to be another month until quarantine's done, which is very sad, but what could you do, bro? So, yeah, I did that. I made a protein smoothie. I sat on my deck for a little bit, and I got to just chill out and enjoy the nice morning, and then got ready for this podcast. But after this, I'm gonna go take my calculus quiz. We're doing our first online calc quiz, so that's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see how that plays out. I'm gonna go do that. I gotta read a little bit for ELA. Maybe I might start one of my several books on my bookshelf over here. I'm thinking about reading. Start off with a smaller book, The Great Gatsby. Maybe I'll start with that, and I could go watch the movie because then it like works together. Leonardo DiCaprio, and yeah, I think that's gonna be how my day is. I mean, knowing me, I'll probably do my homework, finish it all, get really bored of it, and then skip the reading and just play Minecraft. But we'll have to see how it goes, and then I just gotta stay disciplined. I might start streaming on Twitch. I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth it or not. But I might start doing that, and yeah, that's basically how my day is. That's really it. Tomorrow we'll have another great guest as always, and we're just gonna keep on rolling and do what we do, and just keep on podcasting. So yeah, that's about it for today. That's all the thoughts, opinions, and feelings I have for today, March 30th, 2020. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Trevantine. We're almost to a full week of Trevantine. I think almost 10 days. Wow, we're a little bit over a week. I know I skipped yesterday. I think I might not do on Sundays anymore. I don't know. Depends how I feel. Yesterday I wasn't I don't want to say I wasn't feeling too great. I was just really productive. I also woke up super late. I woke up at like 10 a.m. But yeah, that's why I missed yesterday. Tomorrow we'll be back on the same time, same channel, same everything great. Keep washing your hands. This is going to be the way it's going to be for a while, till April 30th at least. And yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Oh, let me get my outro set up.